Pan, the god of wild nature and the mirror of your essence. Society has taught us to be controlled, to follow rules, and to repress our instincts. But what if the most real part of you is precisely what you try to hide? Today you are human, but there is a bestial part of you that merges with nature and echoes a primal laugh. This part is Pan, the god of chaos and nature, and his story is not just a myth, but a mirror of our struggle between nature and civilization. Prepare to discover why Pan's story is, in fact, your own story. Pan's panic, the fear that dwells within us. The first characteristic of Pan we need to understand is his most famous power, that of causing panic. The word, which we use to describe a sudden irrational fear, comes directly from his name. But what does this truly mean? Pan's panic was not a random attack. It was the fear of untamed nature, an overwhelming sensation that would grip solitary travelers, making them flee aimlessly. This can be seen as a metaphor for the fear of the unknown or of uncontrol. In our lives, Pan's panic arises when we are confronted with something we cannot predict or control. Job loss, an unexpected change, social anxiety, or the need to step out of our comfort zone. Pan, in a way, shows us that fear is an instinct, a primal force that reminds us we are not in control of everything. He is the ancestral reminder that we are vulnerable to the chaos of life, and that running from this fear is often running from ourselves. The Flute of Syrinx, from rejection to creation. And the story of his flute, the Syrinx, also hides a profound lesson about suffering and creation. Pan, in his rustic and instinctive nature, fell in love with the nymph Syrinx. She, however, rejected him, and, to escape his pursuit, transformed herself into reeds by a riverbank. Desolate, Pan did not succumb to sadness. He took the reeds, joined them, and created his famous flute. The music he played on the Syrinx was both beautiful and melancholy, echoing the pain of loss and the beauty of creation. This legend teaches us that just as Pan transformed his rejection and pain into an eternal melody, we too can take our own frustrations, disappointments, and even traumas and transform them into something beautiful, meaningful, or constructive. Pan's flute is not just an instrument, it is a powerful symbol of how art, creativity, and overcoming can be born from anguish and loss. Pan and the Search for Acceptance, Abandonment at Birth. Pan's origin, often shrouded in mystery, also offers a reflection on acceptance. Some legends tell that he was abandoned by his mother shortly after birth due to his unusual appearance, with horns and goat legs. Hermes, his father, took him to Olympus, where the gods were charmed by his joyful spirit despite his appearance. This is a powerful metaphor for the search for acceptance of our own uniqueness. How often do we try to hide aspects of ourselves that we consider different or ugly for fear of rejection? Pan teaches us that our true strength and joy can reside precisely in what makes us unique, even if society or even our own internal fears try to make us hide it. It's a reminder that genuine acceptance begins by embracing all parts of who we are, including the most wild or unconventional. The death of Pan. What have we lost in civilization? And finally, we arrive at the most enigmatic and philosophical point in Pan's story, his supposed death. According to the historian Plutarch, in the 1st century AD, Greek sailors heard a voice proclaiming that the great god Pan is dead. This declaration, interpreted by many as the decline of pagan religions and the rise of Christianity, offers a powerful metaphor for our own era. If Pan represents our primal connection to nature, untamed instinct, and creative chaos, his death can be interpreted as what we have lost in our journey of civilization. In our pursuit of order, control, technology, and progress, have we silenced the Pan that resides within us? Have we disconnected from our wild essence, from the ability to feel panic as a warning, to transform pain into art, and to accept our own uniqueness? The death of Pan is not the end of a god. It is a question about what we choose to abandon of ourselves in the name of what we call progress. Conclusion. Pan, therefore, is not just an ancient god of the forests. He is a living archetype, an echo of a profound truth about the human condition. He reminds us that we are complex beings, divided between order and chaos, between instinct and reason. When we look at Pan, we don't just see horns and goat legs, but a mirror to our own soul. He challenges us to embrace our panic, to transform our pain into beauty, and to celebrate the wildest and most authentic part of who we are. Because in the end, perhaps Pan's story is our own story, and his essence, a truth about ourselves that we have long forgotten, but that has never ceased to whisper within us.